Main video 718. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. You got something to say? Let's have a conversation.
There's a significant presence of rodents, plenty of cheese, and a multitude of problems involving mice and diseases within the courthouse. Today, I'm here to talk about a betrayer, a conniving individual who happens to be Lil Zay's brother. Allow me to narrate the entire sequence from its inception to its conclusion and illustrate Lil Zay's conniving siblings' involvement. In court proceedings, Lil Zay's defense attorney presented an argument suggesting that it's standard for rappers to feature videos where they distribute money. This argument came up during the 7th day of the trial, specifically in reference to King Von's action of distributing money. The prosecution attempted to link this act to the alleged assassination of FBG Duck. The special agent brought up Lil Zay's music video titled Never Change, released on October 15, 2021. Additionally, they highlighted an Instagram story shared by Moop, wherein a snippet was revealed. A song that Lil Zay was in the process of creating contained lyrics referring to someone from 63rd who couldn't receive assistance. The judge ruled that this particular evidence could solely be utilized against Moop and Lil Zay if the lyrics themselves were presented as evidence. During cross-examination, Kenny Mac's defense attorney questioned the agent regarding Lil Durk's association with O Block, inquiring specifically about this information. Yes, that's exactly what they inquired about. This is precisely what was discussed in the court proceedings. I'm merely relaying the information without any personal bias or alteration. The agent affirmed that he was not aware of Lil Durk's affiliation with O Block. Additionally, the agent mentioned an incident involving Los and his Chrysler 300 being towed on August 5, 2020, and never being reclaimed thereafter. When further questioned by Kenny Mac's defense attorney about who was linked to O Block, the agent named individuals, including King Von, Moop, Kenny Mac, and Carlos. Later, Kenny Mac's defense team presented a video featuring Drake distributing money to underprivileged individuals. However, the government attorney countered this by raising objections, suggesting that there was a stark comparison drawn between Drake's philanthropic act of distributing money to impoverished individuals and King Von's action of distributing money to gang members or, in this context, individuals associated with criminal activities. Subsequently, the agent was excused from the stand, and the prosecution then introduced their crucial witness, Montrell Easton. Yes, that's Lil Zay's younger brother. Montrell Easton asserted that he had been acquainted with Kenny Mac since May 5, 2020. For those unfamiliar with Montrell Easton, he's the individual who disclosed information about O Block to the authorities because they caught him in possession of a firearm in a video. I need to emphasize that I'm here to provide you with first-hand information. This individual was indeed on the witness stand. Montrell Easton claimed to have known Kenny Mac from May 5, 2020 until August 4, 2020, and stated that they were associated with the Dipet Bay faction. He alleged to be the person Kenny Mac was in contact with concerning Duck. You might recall the message I previously shared in my last video, showing Kenny Mac laughing about certain matters. Shockingly, it turns out that Monter was the one exchanging messages with Lil Zay's brother, transmitting that very information. The witness provided information indicating that Kenny Mac mentioned King Von offering a reward for harming FBG Duck. Additionally, Lil Osama's brother indicated that Kenny Mac wasn't genuinely affiliated with O Block, but rather had close ties or collaboration with them. He further stated that Kenny Mac wasn't interested in the O Block chain. His primary motivation was financial gain. According to the witness, they only spent time together once, which was when they visited someone referred to as D-Thang. It was highlighted by Monter that D-Thang held a higher position within the Black Disciples organization. Montrell Easton then proceeded to identify Kenny Mac upon seeing him in surveillance footage. Yes, he unequivocally pointed him out in various surveillance videos, including footage from the car and other locations. The witness initially identified Kenny Mac's car in the Parkway Gardens parking lot, followed by identifying Kenny Mac running up a stairway within Parkway Gardens. Subsequently, the witness identified Kenny Mac's car driving onto the highway at Wentworth and 63rd at 4:11 p.m. Certainly, after these identifications, Lil Zay Osama's brother continued to identify Kenny Mac's car on Oak Street at around 4:23 p.m. Then, astonishingly, the witness identified Kenny Mack's car returning to O Block at 4:56 p.m. The most striking identification occurred when Lil Zay Osama's brother pointed out Kenny Mack running up the stairs. It was such a vivid moment that he emphasized how clear and apparent it was, using an analogy about characters from movies like Mickey Mouse, Stuart Little, Ralph the Wrecked Mouse, and others would have had a field day witnessing this event. Returning to the core of the information, Lil Zay Osama's brother proceeded with the identification process. He identified Kenny Mack re-entering the stairway after removing a black mask from his car, specifically a brown 504. Additionally, Lil Zay Osama's brother testified that Kenny Mack disclosed to him the identity of the individual who shot at FBG Duck, confirming that they were all affiliated with O Block. It's undoubtedly a compelling and intense situation. And in other news, THFTZ's attorney, along with other defense attorneys, requesting a mistrial. The basis for this request was a situation where an individual on social media alleged that Tay, also known as Ralph Turbin or Vision, was homosexual. This allegation gained attention, notably when Mama Duck went live and addressed this matter. For those wondering how this information circulated, there's a background to it. Someone who had been incarcerated alongside Mr. Ralph Turbin shared personal knowledge, claiming that Vision had tendencies indicative of being homosexual. They described him as someone who exhibited behaviors associated with being a sugar boy or involved in non-consensual activities, making distressing claims about him assaulting individuals in prison. This individual mentioned a specific incident alleging that Vision had perpetrated assault while incarcerated, mentioning the victim as someone close to them. However, the context or specifics of this incident weren't elaborated on, indicating that there might be more to this disturbing story. Certainly, following that narrative, in court proceedings, the deceased D-Thang, who was identified as Lil Durk's brother, was brought up. It was mentioned that THFTZ reportedly communicated with D-Thang when disclosing FBG Duck's whereabouts. Allegedly, there was a 20-minute phone conversation discussing the plan to murder FBG Duck while THFTZ monitored Duck's movements inside Milan. Regarding the purported motive behind THFTZ's disclosure of FBG Duck's location, it was suggested that Ralph, referring to THFTZ, had a personal reason for revealing Duck's whereabouts. Allegedly, this reason was due to FBG Duck having intimate relations with Ralph Turbin's, THFTZ's, significant other, implying a motive based on personal affairs. Additionally, it was revealed that the individual who was present with THFTZ when observing FBG Duck in Milan had decided to testify in court. This person, who was in court, aimed to testify regarding the communication and alleged orchestration of a hit on Duck, affirming THFTZ's involvement. Surprisingly, it was also mentioned that THFTZ's own baby mama opted to take the stand to provide testimony in this complex situation. Certainly, the defense attorney representing Turbin argued vehemently that Turbin shouldn't be categorized or referred to as a member of O Block by any witnesses or the jury. The defense's stance was grounded in the assertion that O Block is a dangerous gang, and associating their client with it could unfairly influence the jury. Additionally, the defense sought to have Turbin's case separated from the other 5 defendants, aiming for a distinct trial. However, the judge dismissed this request, denying the motion for separation. This decision was quite surprising and drew attention during the proceedings. As the court resumed, a significant focus was placed on phone records and newly created Instagram accounts by the defendants in 2021. Notably, the messages exchanged between an unidentified individual and Kenny Mack were brought into discussion. These messages allegedly depicted Kenny Mack instructing the unknown person to return their firearms to O Block, indicating potential involvement or association between Kenny Mack and others in O Block. Following the assassination of FBG Duck, THFTZ allegedly messaged someone to check the news regarding the incident. Subsequently, he reportedly sent an Instagram post depicting FBG Duck's lifeless body on the ground, adding a caption that said, "Yes, sir." In response, the individual he messaged commented on the post, stating "funniest expletive ever loaf D." After FBG Duck's murder, THFTZ allegedly sent a message to his baby mama consisting of 3 laughing emoji faces, seemingly mocking her previous post expressing love for FBG Duck. This action might have been prompted by some emotional turmoil caused by her post. Moreover, it was discovered that Kenny Mack received an Instagram message accusing him of being involved in the incident in his car shortly after FBG Duck's murder. This message was sent by a girl with whom Kenny Mack was reportedly having relations. These occurrences and communications transpired in the days following FBG Duck's assassination before the court proceedings concluded. It seems that all 6 defendants were offered a plea deal of 55 years in prison. However, all defendants denied this offer, which is perplexing considering the weight of evidence against them. From an outsider's perspective, it might seem illogical to refuse such a deal when faced with substantial incriminating evidence. In cases like this where the evidence is overwhelming, denying a plea deal could lead to much harsher consequences. The choice to decline a plea deal offering a fixed sentence might be difficult to comprehend, especially when the alternative could result in life imprisonment. Given the substantial evidence presented in court, it might be advisable for the defendants to consider accepting the plea deal for 55 years. Opting to go to trial with the presented evidence could potentially result in a far more severe sentence, possibly even a life sentence without parole. It's essential to weigh the options carefully and consider the repercussions before making such a decision, as it greatly impacts their future and freedom.